So Long, and Thanks for All the Fish, by Douglas Adams. Chapter 21. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is, as has been remarked before often and accurately, a pretty startling kind of a thing. It is essentially, as the title implies, a guidebook. The problem is, or rather one of the problems, for there are many, a sizable proportion of which are continually clogging up the civil, commercial and criminal courts in all areas of the galaxy, and especially, where possible, the more corrupt ones. This. The previous sentence makes sense. That is not the problem. This is. Change. Listen again and you'll get it. The galaxy is a rapidly changing place. There is frankly so much of it, every bit of which is continually on the move, continually changing. A bit of a nightmare, you might think, for a scrupulous and conscientious editor diligently striving to keep this massively detailed and complex electronic tome abreast of all the changing circumstances and conditions that the galaxy throws up every minute of every hour of every day, and you would be wrong. Where you would be wrong would be in failing to realise that the editor, like all the editors the guide has ever had, has no real grasp of the meanings of the words scrupulous, conscientious or diligent, and tends to get his nightmares through a straw. Entries tend to get updated, or not, across the sub-Ethernet according to if they read good. Take, for example, the case of Braquinder in the Foth of Avalars, famed in myth, legend and stultifyingly dull tri-D miniseries as home of the magnificent and magical Flornis Fire Dragon. In ancient days, before the advent of the Sorth of Bragadox, when Fragilis sang and Saxa Queen of the Quenlux held sway, when the air was sweet and the nights fragrant, but everyone somehow managed to be, or so they acclaimed, though not how on earth they could have thought that anyone was even remotely likely to believe such a preposterous claim, what with all the sweet air and fragrant nights and what not, is anyone's guess. Virgins, it was not possible to heave a brick on Braquinder in the Foth of Avalars without hitting at least half a dozen Floris Fire Dragons. Whether you would want to do that is another matter. Not that fire dragons weren't an essentially peace-loving species, because they were. They adored it to bits. And this wholesale adoring of things to bits was often in itself the problem. One so often hurts the one loves. Especially if one is a Floris Fire Dragon with breath like a rocket booster and teeth like a park fence. Another problem was that once they were in the mood, they often went on to hurt quite a lot of the ones that other people loved as well. Add to all that the relatively small number of madmen who actually went around the place heaving bricks, and you end up with a lot of people on Braquinder in the Foth of Avalars getting seriously hurt by dragons. But did they mind? They did not. Were they heard to bemoan their fate? Nope. The Floris Fire Dragons were revered throughout the lands of Braquinder in the Foth of Avalars for their savage beauty, their noble ways, and their habit of biting people who did not revere them. Why was this? Well, the answer was simple. Sex. There is, for some unfathomed reason, something almost unbearably sexy about having fire-breathing magical dragons flying low about the sky on moonlit nights, which were already dangerously on the sweet and vagrant side. Why this should be so, the romance-besotted people of Braquinder in the Foth of Avalars could not have told you, and would not have stopped to discuss the matter once the effect was up and going, for no sooner would a flock of half a dozen silk-winged, leather-bodied Floris Fire Dragons heave into sight across the evening horizon than half the people of Braquinder were scurrying off into the woods with the other half, there to spend a busy, breathless night together, and emerge with the first rays of dawn, all smiling and happy and still claiming, rather endearingly, to be virgins, if rather flushed and sticky virgins. Pheromones, some researchers said. Something sonic, others claimed. The place was always stiff, with researchers trying to get to the bottom of it all and taking a very long time about it. Not surprisingly, the guide's graphically enticing description of the general state of affairs on this planet has proved to be astonishingly popular amongst hitchhikers who allow themselves to be guided by it, and so it was simply never taken out, and is therefore left to latter-day travellers to find out for themselves that today's modern Braquinder in the city-state of Avalars is now little more than concrete, strip joints, and dragon burger bars.